Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reacting to 1-star reviews of my favorite books. This is gonna be really sad. This is gonna be a hard video to film. And if these are some of your favorite books, it might be a hard video for you to watch. So I have 4 favorite books that I'm going to be reading the 1-star reviews of on Goodreads for. And we're just gonna cry together about it, okay? Because I love these 4 books with my whole heart. And to think that anybody would give them less than a 3-star makes no sense to me. I am just absolutely depressed by the fact that there are people out here who don't love these books and have the audacity of giving them a 1-star. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for clicking on this video, and I really hope you enjoy. The first book I'm going to be reading the 1-star reviews of is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This was one of the first books I read this year where I actually felt like, oh my gosh, yes, this is an all-time favorite. Absolutely my favorite of the year at that point. I don't know if it's my favorite I've read this year just because I've read some others that I really enjoy, but they're from different genres. So I have to really think and decide whether I think it's going to be my all-time favorite of this year, but I don't know. It's so good. It's really good. Definitely a top favorite for the rest of my life. Okay, I'm going to get up on Goodreads and see how many 1-star ratings this beautiful book has gotten. It's gotten almost a total of 200,000 ratings, but there are still 1,436 1-star ratings. The first one I see here is kind of long. Okay, all right, we can work with this. Yikes, how can I go from giving 5 stars to this author for beach read to 1 star? This book was the biggest disappointment of this year so far. I was so excited to read it and it didn't deliver for me. Okay, that's fine for you, okay, for you, but do not trash the book. I hope that they don't trash the book. They gave 5 stars to Beach Read though, and gave 1 star to People We Meet on Vacation. They're not different enough for it to be that drastic of a change. And me personally, I liked People We Meet on Vacation more than Beach Read, but let's see what else they have to say. It's a friends to lovers, which is not my fave trope. Okay, that's fine, but it's my favorite trope. Apparently, Alex and Poppy loved each other for 12 years and didn't make a single move in those years to form a relationship. But they had BF and GF when their feelings were so strong. The reason of their fallout was childish. A conversation would have solved it. I didn't feel any chemistry between them. They were better off as platonic friends. I think Poppy liked him because he didn't have him. That's it. She had a codependency on him to not feel alone. How did this person not feel the chemistry? The chemistry, the point of their relationship is that they're clearly best friends who have secret feelings for each other. The chemistry is brought out to you by the 12-year relationship that they had as just being friends, and that's supposed to get you to start rooting for them to fall in love because you can tell that they are literally so perfect for each other. Why would you settle for just being platonic friends when they're clearly soulmates? You know? She had a codependency on him to not feel alone. I think that's false, 100%, because she did have her own issues in the book, which I won't get into just because we don't have time and you'll have to read the book to understand, but she clearly is her own person and she's a grown woman. She can take care of herself. Freaking A, man. That's not true. She does not have a codependency on him to not feel alone because she did date other people. They had their space. When they had their falling out, they gave each other their space, but she realized that they are really good friends. So like, why would she not try and get him to come back and resolve the issue and stuff? Let's keep moving. Let's move on. We only get the heroine's POV, and at some point it got suffocating. I wanted to see what the hero was thinking because of 80% of the book I felt like he only liked her as a sister, not a lover, and when the declaration of love happened, it seemed like they paid him to say all of those things. I did not believe him. He also had more chemistry with his ex than with Poppy. Okay, this person just clearly is not rooting for them from the start. So I don't think this is a personal preference on how you interpreted the book, but I don't believe in that. Her obsession with his ex-girlfriend was weird. Even having dreams about her and bringing her name up in conversations, making things awkward. The writing was all over the place. Suddenly we were in the present, and then in the same sentence she is reminiscing about the furniture she had to buy 4 months ago. That's called good writing. That's called interweaving a great story together to get you to feel like you're there with the characters. It's so immersive. If you're not enjoying it and if you're not loving it, yeah, those little tangents or those little runoffs might annoy you, but that's because you already aren't into this book. You're not loving the characters. You're not going to care about what they're talking about when it's furniture they bought 4 months ago. But I loved Emily Henry's writing in this book. I thought it was very relatable, very real and raw and perfect, because she would add little bits and pieces of stuff like that to make it feel like such a unique book that you can have an actual connection to. There were so many insignificant details, like describing the life of her many boyfriends, or even rambling for 5 paragraphs on how Alex's parents named their children in alphabetical order. Those were just added words to make the book longer because it's not relevant to the plot. I don't care what he ate 4 years ago on the rooftop of a New York hotel on a summer night. Maybe this person just should stay away from romance then. I don't think romance is your genre. I'm not very fond of this new trend where lots of pages are spent talking with fine details of the hundreds of activities you can do in a city. Ugh, that's literally the best part. Those scenes are my favorite. This happened in this book way too often, adding nothing to the story, making it boring. It was not boring. I'm sorry, it's not. You're boring. You're boring. But at least they should pitch those chapters to travel agencies though. It can make cute brochures.
Excuse you?
So you do think that there was added value to that? A cute brochure? How does that make sense? It's a romance novel and it's following their cute little like montage-y moments through New Orleans. Anyway, I know I'm going to be kind of alone with this opinion because everybody is loving it, but I just wanted to rant a bit because I waited for this book a long time to end up hating it. Wow, that breaks my heart. I'm so sorry that this person did not love this book. They are totally allowed to have their own opinion on this, but I think
They're wrong.
it got 321 likes. Okay. That got me a little heated and I want to apologize. If you're watching this video and you happen to be one of these people who have written these reviews, I am not personally attacking you. I'm just trying to stand up for my love for these books because I think they're perfect and it's totally fine that these people do not. Just want to get that out there. I'm not attacking you. I'm just standing up for what I believe in. That's the point of books, you know, to have differing opinions on them. That's completely fine. Let's read another one, a little bit shorter. If a man pulls a sad puppy face at you, run as fast as you can. Someone commented, almost picked this up. Never mind. Why is that all you have to say? Why is that what you're telling people? The reason to stay away from this book is because Alex makes sad puppy faces? It's supposed to be adorable, okay? And it is. Okay, another one, a little bit longer, but I'll go through it quickly. Whether it's Instagram or Goodreads, this book has been coming to my view all over the place for months. Since the novel was so hyped, the cover looked cute, and with all the 5-star reviews, I thought it would surely be a great read. I was expecting a lot, but alas, it just fell flat. There is nothing to love about these characters, and there is no plot in this book. I almost wished I had only read chapters that had to do with the present because the flashbacks did not add enough value to the story. That's why I skipped a lot of pages to get to the end. So if anyone who is really interested in reading this novel, don't believe the hype. That's not true. I think that these people reviewing this book are not true romance lovers. You know, they must read trashy romance. They don't like a cute, wholesome romance, because that's what this is. Cute and wholesome, and it's adventurous. It's just such a fun ride that you're going on with these characters. I agree that they're not the most lovable characters ever. Poppy and Alex are not my favorite couple in general, and they are not my favorite characters that I've ever read about. But that's not really what the book was about for me. It was more the writing and the inclusions of all the little minute details that Emily Henry did add, and the way she made you feel like the main character. And it was just so fun and wholesome. Like, it was just wholesome. If you don't like wholesome romance, then no, I guess this isn't for you. So people rating this 1 star must not like wholesome romance. Although this writer is new to me, but seeing the type of writing, I realize that the author can write very well, and I know good writing is not an easy task, so I'm still interested in her next book. Okay, so my rating is 1 star for writing skill only. That's a little harsh. That's really harsh. One more and then we're gonna move on, because people are not adding that much to this whole thing. This person says, God, that was excruciating. I wasn't even going to read this, but the publisher sent it to me because I reviewed the author's last book, which was quite a bit better than this, though not earth-shattering. There were many things wrong with this book, the first being that Poppy and Alex P. Keaton don't meet on vacation. While I'm not a particularly literal person, I'm not clear on the reason for the title. The reader also has to sit through a year-by-year recap of every boring vacation these two boring people take. They're not boring. Why is everyone saying that they're boring? They're not boring. Oh my goodness. I will say that yes, the title is a little confusing, but that is besides the point. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. I just can't believe everyone thinks that they're boring. But the year-by-year recap of their vacations was so fun and cute to follow. Why is that boring? Followed by a climax that culminates in both of them whining about their lack of personal adjustment to real life. Not recommended. That is real life. Okay, it's not a fantasy, it's a contemporary romance. It's supposed to be real life. They weren't supposed to have this huge falling out. They weren't supposed to have something so big that they were gonna struggle to come back from. The whole point was for it to be not that big of a deal, to show that they were overreacting. They were being a little childish with the miscommunication, but there's a little bit of a character arc that you need to pay more attention to understand behind it all, you know? Okay, let's move on. Okay, that was sad. I can understand people's opinions. I just think that from even what they said, 1 star is really, really dramatic. Okay, my next book that we're going to be reading 1 star reviews of is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Now this one is a thriller, so completely different from People We Meet on Vacation. That's what makes it hard picking my top. I feel like I want to say Survive the Night is my #1 favorite of this year because I love thrillers more than romance. So this book was so good. Let's see what people have to say in their 1 star reviews. Okay, so this has a total of about 37,000 ratings and 1,152 of them are 1 star ratings. Okay, all right. I see Kat from Paperback Dreams. She rated this a 1 star and she made a whole video about it because she has so many thoughts and absolutely none of them are positive. We're not gonna watch the video. We're just gonna keep going through Goodreads here and see what we can find. This person says, I'm going to act like I didn't just squander 4 hours of my life reading this book. Okay, like what's wrong with it though? People are commenting, same, exactly my thought. Someone's exaggerating their WPM. What does that mean? Okay, come on, give me some actual review here. This person says, this was not it. It was the lack of common sense for me. You know that dumb character we yell on screen in a horror movie doing stupid things? Yes, enter this bitch. Charlie Jordan. Okay, yes, I understand. She was making terrible decisions, had very little common sense. Her reasoning behind lots of decisions she was making made no sense. So I get that, but that's what makes the book so good, because just like in a horror movie, that's what makes horror movies good. If that person were to make good decisions, there would be no good horror movie. People have to make dumb decisions to get them to the thrilling part of the book or movie. And also, are you like the common sense master? Because I know that I myself and many other people make dumb decisions just because you're so stuck in your ways, you're so stuck in getting to a certain place. For Charlie, she wanted to leave college, and she was willing to do whatever it took to get home immediately, and that was getting in the car with a stranger who might have been a serial killer. Like, yeah, that's a little crazy and doesn't make sense, but she was willing to do that so that she could get home and away from college after her best friend was murdered by a serial killer. This girl literally thinks she's the main character. Shaking my head. She is the main character. What does that mean? She's the main character of the book. She would literally get me killed in the first 5 minutes of any scary movie. Charlie, you suck. Bye. 1 star for me. Okay, this person clearly just has beef with Charlie. One of the most anticipated books of the year. I love Riley Sager. I hated this book. Okay, but nobody's really giving me many reasons why they hate this book. You know that movie where James Franco gets trapped between a cave wall and a boulder for 127 hours and is slowly losing hope and sanity and has to resort to drastic measures to get free? Yeah, that's what this book felt like. Okay, so these are all really popular YouTubers that are rating this 1 star, because I recognize her as well. Okay, we need something with actual substance. Give me a review with substance. This one doesn't have substance, but we're gonna read it anyway. Riley, geez, you could have just said you didn't like movies. Well, I heard you clear and loud. Now, I don't want to watch movies anymore. Thank you. What is going on? Okay, no one's writing long reviews for this. What the hell did I just read? This was the biggest waste of my time. I have a million things to complain about, but it's so much that I just can't. Also, Sager needs to stop reading women characters. Okay, so people have so many bad things to say about this that they're not saying anything. Also, I do think, yeah, I don't necessarily agree that Sager needs to stop writing from women's perspectives. I think it's a little different and interesting, but you know, it could be a little problematic down the line. I'm not gonna get into that though. I don't know. So plot is ludicrous, female protagonist is idiotic, probably will be made into a movie, go figure. This is just frustrating me that nobody's really giving me any substance here. No one's really telling me what's wrong with it. This person says, coming right after Home Before Dark, this was a terrible disappointment. A whole mystery based on the unlikely premise that you accept the behavior of Charlie, or always do the least likely thing main character, who starts it all off by deciding to hitch a lift with a stranger right after her friend has been murdered by a stranger, whilst also overlooking the very obvious murderer waiting in the wings for their much belated undramatic entry. The whole book is pure insanity, tenuously linked, lightly characterized, tedious, and obvious. It might be a quick read, but I recommend you don't waste your precious time. These reviews aren't even making me feel bad. Like, I'm just like, you're clearly wrong. Like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. Okay, one more, and then we're moving on because people don't have enough to say here, so it's a waste of my time reading their reviews about this. I think I might be done with Riley Sager. Oh. Time and time again, I have gotten swept along by an exciting premise only for it to all come crashing down at breakneck speed. I don't understand the purpose behind tacking on 10 twists a minute to the end of every novel. It just makes a twist lose all impact. Not to mention, after 4 books, it has become boringly predictable. I think Riley Sager annoys me most of all because his books have so much potential. The only thing worse than a bad book is a bad book that easily could have been good. That's unforgivable. This could have been so fun, even great, but once again, in the end, it all just feels wasted. Well, I'm sorry people feel like they're wasting their time on Riley Sager. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. People just don't get it. I feel bad they don't get it. Okay, we're gonna do the third one, which is another romance, and that is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I loved this book so much, and it became a very close tie with People We Meet on Vacation, but I do think that I enjoyed the male love interest in this book more so than People We Meet on Vacation. So we have Alex in People We Meet on Vacation, and we have Ethan from The Unhoneymooners, and I loved Ethan so much more. He is such a precious little bean, and I think because we got to see more from him in The Unhoneymooners as opposed to Alex, that is what made me like fall in love with him even more. But I didn't love the female character in this, Olive, as much as I think I liked Poppy. So that's where the difference is a little bit there. The Unhoneymooners is really, really fun. It's such a fun summer read because it takes place in Hawaii and you're following this fake honeymoon, this fake marriage play out between enemies to lovers. So I think this one might be a little bit more of a favorited book by most because of the enemies to lovers trope, which I don't particularly favor. I like friends to lovers more, but I think this one was done so incredibly well that it was able to get a 5-star from me. So let's read the 1-star reviews of this book. There's a total of 250,000 plus ratings on Goodreads. 2,265 of them are 1-star reviews. So let's see what the people have to say. What are the steps to write an enemies to lovers contemporary romance so that it instantly becomes a bestseller? Answer: develop a heroine who is smoking hot but doesn't know it. Develop a hero who is freaking handsome and he knows it, and don't forget the abs. They meet each other and hate each other for no reason, but they still think the other one is hot. Main character mentioned that they are hot. Okay, what? That's not what it is about. Like, the book hardly talks about it like that. Throw them in a situation where they are stuck with each other for 3 days to 2 weeks. They can't keep it in their pants, so they keep being horny, but never under any circumstances should they discuss why they hated each other. Then throw in a stupid big fight. Anything stupid, then okay, this is the stupid review. Like, I'm actually losing brain cells reading this review. Come down to this part where they actually start talking like a normal person. Sounds pretty pathetic when you read it like that, huh? Yeah, it does sound pathetic, but I don't think that's at all what the book is about. At all. It hardly emphasizes on that. Let me tell you something. I love enemies to lovers trope. Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book, blah, blah, blah. But this was irritating to the point where my eyes were bleeding. Very dramatic. Your eyes were not bleeding. Please don't lie to us. Wow, I get that rom-coms should make me smile and not overanalyze, but this isn't me being overanalyzing. This is me asking, what the F, dude? And that Harry Potter joke, ugh. Worst of all, where was the falling in love part? Where was the part where I fell in love? Sadly, there is none. And the cherry on top, this calls itself a rom-com, but I never once found anything funny. But then again, I am an alien. I don't really know how to respond to that review. It's hard to combat reviews like that when people are so adamant about their feelings towards a book, when they feel so much hatred from a book. It's really hard to see the light in what they're talking about. But I just think that they were overanalyzing. They said that they weren't, but I think it definitely was overanalyzed, and it's just supposed to be a rom-com. I don't know why you're overthinking it. When I die, I want Christina Lauren to lower me into my grave so they can let me down one last time. Oh no. Wow, okay, so that person just doesn't like Christina Lauren. The only thing I liked about this book was the cover. Okay, good for you. Few books make me want to roll my eyes this much. Flat characters, flat banter, flat world building, flat enemies to lovers, if you can even call it that. What do you mean world building? It's a romance. You're in Hawaii. There's no world to build. You're in Hawaii. There was not flat banter. The banter was impeccable. The best banter I've read so far in a rom-com. Flat characters, maybe for the girl, for Olive, maybe she's a little flat. I can give you that maybe. I disagree. The whole story is pretty much in the synopsis, and that's it. That's all of the story. Everyone at her sister's wedding gets sick, and she has to spend 10 days in her sister's honeymoon with her arch nemesis, which leads me to my next problem, the supposed enemies to lovers. Okay, so people aren't thinking that this is very enemies to lovers-y, which is probably why I really enjoyed it, because I can definitely see it's an enemies to lovers. There's no question about that. The reasoning behind it can be maybe not people's favorites, but I don't care about that. Like, they end up together, they end up in love. That's the whole point. You're following the journey on how they fell in love with each other. The cute scenes in Hawaii and the banter between them, that's what you're supposed to be paying attention to. You're not really supposed to dissect these romances so hard and intensely because they're just supposed to be a fun, light summer read. It's just supposed to be fun. You're just supposed to laugh and you're just supposed to enjoy the ride. Their banter was boring, and what they called arguing was surprise, not arguing. And the humor, was it supposed to be funny? I think it's pretty clear that I hated this. Yes, it is clear that you hated it. Oh my gosh, they shelved this as trashy reads. Why the hype? Burn this book. Cannot be taken seriously. Wow. This is just ridiculous. People are really feisty out there for some really good books. Can't believe it. This infuriated me. Somebody just is getting all worked up over the enemies to lovers part being frustrating, and Olive can't be taken seriously. She had her own problems too, like normal people do, like in real life you do. So she was insecure, and so she does think that Ethan hates her, and then they become enemies to lovers and they don't like each other. I don't know. This is really difficult, actually. I can understand where people are coming from. It's just, I think that they're being over dramatic. That's not the point of these books. This is actually really making me angry. So we're gonna keep moving on. We're gonna do the last one I have here, and then we're never gonna talk about this ever again, okay? Their reviews are not swaying me in any way, shape, or form, though. These are all great books that I had great experiences reading. I feel bad for these people who did not have great experiences reading these amazing books. The last book I have to read 1-star reviews of is No Exit by Taylor Adams. One of the greatest thrillers of all time. Loved this book so much when I read it. I was blown away. Absolutely fell in love with thrillers when I read this. It's insane, okay? So this book gets 82,742 ratings. 1,561 of them are 1 stars. First one I see says, wow, what a massive disappointment. Everything started well enough, great characters, interesting premise. Then I predicted the first twist, and the second, and the third, and I'm done. Okay, how did you hold on a second. How did you predict every single plot twist like that? I mean, good for you, but that shouldn't turn you off from it. I don't know how you guessed it, but whatever, okay? Whatever. Not wasting another minute on this when it feels like I've read it all before. So they didn't finish it? The author needs a lesson on how to hide the obvious. Such a shame that these well-developed characters are trapped in this predictable book that takes a simple concept and draws it out until the plot becomes paper thin, boring, and exasperatingly repetitive. No, it was not obvious. You just got lucky, I think. Like, that is not... Okay. Next. What the bloody hell was that? Unfortunately, I DNF'd at 30%. The plot was ridiculous. Darby was an irritating character, and if you were stuck in a blizzard, why wouldn't you have a plan B? What? What would your plan B be? If you were driving home from college, got stuck in a snowstorm, you couldn't pass, and the only safe place to stop would be a rest stop. There's no plan B from there. You're trapped. It's called isolated location, and you're stuck there. There's nothing you can do. You can't drive through the snow. You can't call your private helicopter to come pick you up. Like, there's no plan B to that. Sometimes life doesn't hand you plan Bs. You just gotta go buy one from the store, you know? Kidding, that was a bad joke. For heaven's sake, Miss Taylor, get the plot right. Wait, is Taylor Adams a girl? Oh my gosh, I can't type. Why did this person said Miss Taylor, and Taylor Adams is definitely a man. Okay, so literally they say, for heaven's sake, Miss Taylor, get the plot right. Ugh. How about, for heaven's sake, Miss this person, get the gender right. This was one forgettable book. Would not recommend. Okay, you're one forgettable reviewer, that's for sure. I'm getting really, really feisty. I'm a very sassy person. I probably should never do this again. I'm sorry if this is you who wrote these reviews. What I would describe as a complete waste of reading time. I had seen some reviews in 2018 and thought the cover was intriguing, so I purchased a copy. I just got around to reading it this month. The premise was ridiculous, the story outrageous and totally unbelievable. What? How is that completely outrageous, ridiculous, and totally unbelievable? There's outrageous and ridiculous people out there. I would not be surprised if there's been something more unbelievable happen in the world than the plot of this book. Silly comments and graphic scenes that were just gratuitous. Total frustration with these characters and lack of any cohesiveness. Repetitive, non-stop eye-rolling, and should have been a DNF. It was like a low-budget B-rated horror movie. No thanks. Sorry, obviously this one was a massive fail, not recommended. A lot of people DNF'd this one, didn't even get to the end, which sucks for them because the ending is great. You gotta get to the end to wrap it all up. I can't with these people. I literally can't. Okay, this person. This will be the last one, most likely. For those that know me well, know that I am severely picky. Oh, great. Maybe we should just move on from this guy. I don't want a picky person because clearly all these people have been super picky already. I am even more picky with thrillers. That is my favorite genre, so you either roll with the suspense or get a nasty review. What in the blue hell was this? There was no characterization, just an annoying main character stuck in a blizzard not knowing what to do. Where the hell did she come from? What led to the blizzard? Why should readers wait for something big to happen? What do you mean, what led to the blizzard? The weather? What do you mean, what led to the blizzard? Blizzards come when blizzards want to come. You get stuck. She made a poor decision on driving home that day when there was going to be a blizzard going through Colorado. Her parents apparently didn't tell her to maybe... Okay, I can't. I just remembered part of it. I was gonna say her mom didn't tell her to wait till the next night to maybe drive through Colorado, but she was literally going to see her, right? Wasn't that it? She's going to go see her mom dying of cancer. She's not gonna wait for the blizzard to pass. She's gonna try and get through the blizzard. And blizzards come from the sky, okay? Where the hell did she come from? She came from college. She's going home from college to see her dying mother. I feel like I'm wrong on that. I think it's her dying mother, right? Isn't her mom dying from cancer? That's why she's trying to get home? Whatever. It is a freaking, I really want to use the F word, but I digress, thriller. That means that you have to build up characterization from the beginning. It was built. There were characterizations. It's this college girl trying to get home to see her dying mother. That's all you really need to know to want to root for her, right? Unless you're cold-hearted, bitch. I should not have to wait for eternity for something to pull me in. Granted, there are a few thrillers with the exception to this rule, but not many. The pacing was rushed and the only exit was me moving the hell out. Ugh, of course it has rave reviews. What a surprise. Sometimes I wonder if people just buy the hype without reading themselves. How would they give it a rave review if they didn't read themselves? They just bought the hype. This book was not hyped when I read it. I don't think I had ever heard of it before I read it. It kept me up all night and I was on the edge of my seat and I read it basically in one sitting. It was incredible. Do not tell me otherwise. This person says it wasn't particularly a bad book, but I hated every second of it. Okay, all right. I can't. All right, we're done here. That's it. That's enough. That's enough of that. I don't know what we learned. We did not learn a single thing in this video. Thank you for watching though. Now I need to go cool down and take a breather, pray to God or something, have my faith restored for humanity because I just lost a lot of it just now. I have no hope for people anymore. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a major heartbreak for me, so please make me feel better by liking the video. Let me know if any of these books were your favorite and if the reviews hurt your heart just as much as it hurt mine. I'm going to head out, so I hope you're all doing well. I will see you in my next video. Bye!